Hello, everyone. I think we are live here, kicking things off. My name is Brittany Joyner. I am obsessed with Trello, and I have some amazing friends here from Trello who are going to tell us about some exciting things coming in Trello. We're going to talk about the new minimalist design on the back of cards, which I accidentally showed at the Trello Con, and it got everybody was like, wait a minute, what is this? What is this?" So very excited for a real professional to show you that. And also, we're going to talk about some exciting updates card mirroring has. So everybody stay tuned for all of that. And just, hey, bye with Lena. How's it going? Feel free as we're going through here, post your questions in the chat and any sort of thoughts or comments or feedback you have. The best way to share that with the Trello team is to click that feedback button inside of Trello and share your thoughts there. That's obviously folks here are listening and have, thoughts and ideas and can share some stuff, but from a data perspective, I know it's helpful when it's documented, organized, and written somewhere. So definitely feel free to do that. But yeah, looking forward to having everyone here ask your questions, and we're super excited. So we'll go ahead and kick things off. First of all, Mike, I didn't really introduce you, but I mean, this is Trello
Everyone knows
Trailblazer.
who I
So
am. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
Mike, Trello consultant and Trello lover as well. And these two features are a couple of my favorite features that have been released recently. The card back one, I just wanted things to be more organized and I wanted comments to be on the right hand side. So they kind of answered my prayers with that one. And mirroring, I didn't really use it much to begin with, but the more I find uses for it as time goes on. So I'm using it more and more and really enjoying that as well.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, and I'll introduce two before we kick off our two Trello friends that we've got with us. Alex, you want to go first? Tell us a little about yourself.
Sure. Hi, I'm Alex. I'm super excited to be here. I'm a senior PM at Trello. I've been with Atlassian for a long time, and I'm here to talk about the card back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And Katie, you've been here before, but feel free to, in case we've got some new friends around, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Yeah, I'm so happy to be back. It was so fun last time. I'm Katie. I'm also a senior PM at Trello. I've been at Trello for 9 years this month, and I worked on mirror cards, and it was a huge passion project for me. So really excited to talk to you all about it a little more today.
Woohoo! Yeah, awesome. And on that note, yeah, we're going to pass over to Alex. Put your questions in the chat, and I'll try to help kind of flag and call them out. But yeah, kick it off, Alex. I totally meant to test it ahead of time, practice the screen sharing. But so we're doing it live, folks.
We're doing it live. All right, let me
right?
see if I can do this and if it comes up. I haven't done this before.
So it should.
I have screen.
Okay, there we go. I was going to say, I think if you press H or something, but yep, there we go. Add to the scene. Perfect.
Oh, sweet. Okay, nice. Are you seeing my mouse move around? A little bit?
Yes. Wait, I think, yes, I see your mouse. Yep.
Okay, cool. We're in. Okay, so I set up a quick demo board to demo the card back. Let me just get into it. Okay, so Britt kind of mentioned this, so did Mike. We've redesigned the card back. It looks a lot different. If you've been using Trello for a long time, you've probably been used to the old card back. We haven't changed it very much at all. And so with the new personal productivity beta, we're rolling out a new design. Just a couple things to note. I've kind of got two different example cards to go through. One is an existing card and one is a new card, so you can kind of see what the difference looks like. But just kind of the most important thing to note is that we've updated the design, but we haven't changed any of the functionality. So everything you could do on the old card back, you can still do on the new card back. It just looks a little different. So this is an existing card, and you can kind of see, wow, it looks pretty different, but also kind of not. The comments and activity panel is on the right side, so you can kind of see comments and your activity next to your card details. But kind of some main things to note is that there's a menu up here. The card body looks kind of like the card body, the old one. And there's a nav menu at the bottom, which is where you'll find your power-ups, automations, and you can open and close your comments and activity panel. And then there's a menu up here, which is where you do your card actions. So if you're looking at an existing card with a bunch of details, it'll look something like this. And then if you're looking at a new card, it'll look a little bit different. So this is just a brand new card with no details added yet. If you have custom fields, it'll show up automatically. The description box shows up automatically. Neither of those are required, like today. And then you've got this menu right here. So here are your quick add buttons. So these will show up, and they show up in order of use. So you could quickly add a label, and once you do that, it'll move, and you get you get attachments and so on and so forth. So if you wanted to add something like some details to the card that isn't appearing here in one of these quick add buttons, you can just click this add menu and add a location. I'm in the office today. So Evelyn Avenue. So it'll show up like that. Here's your card navigation menu, so you can find your power-ups, your automation buttons. You could add some new ones. If you wanted to focus, you can close your comments and activity panel. The card panel is the same size as it was before. It just looks a little bit more narrow because we got rid of that right rail with all those buttons. And here's your menu for your actions if you wanted to copy it or move it or join or yeah. And Britt mentioned the feedback. There's a feedback button on the card back as well. So I'll just maybe stop there and see if anybody has any questions.
I have a little.
This is awesome. Oh yeah, come on.
I have a little story from a client I was talking to yesterday, and they were using Trello, but they were using when they wanted to add comments and updates to a card. They were using the description because the comments were so far down the card. So they were actually like putting their own manual timestamps in comments in the description. And then when I showed them the new design, they were like, "Yeah, okay, that's perfect."
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And that's a good example too. Like Alex, when you mentioned it looks the same but kind of different, it kind of made me think of like spring cleaning, like when your car gets washed, it's like it's the same car. You've got what you've got there, it just somehow looks cleaner. You can actually find that hand sanitizer when you need it, or you've got that fresh smell to it. So yeah. So Olivia has a question about custom buttons. So basically if you add, and I think this might relate to like what Rasmus is talking about as well with the power up buttons, are how to access power up specific buttons on a card. Can you show us how those work and where we find those?
Yes, so if you add an automation, like an automation button, it would show up here in this automation menu. So you could add new buttons here or find previously added ones. Also in this menu, power up's the same thing. So you just click the power up icon and you'll see all your buttons there. So if it's power up, it'll show up in one place. If it's automation, it'll show up in the other. But yeah, same menu.
Yeah, and I know that like like for the non-power up and custom button things, all of the same keyboard shortcuts work. So talking about things being tucked away, like you can still access a lot of things very quickly with the same keyboard shortcuts that you were used to before. And then, yeah, for the buttons and the power-ups, like, yes, there is an extra click, but I don't know. I don't envy the position that you all are in where you have 100 million people telling you these cards are too cluttered. I hate everything on it. Make it go away. And then you also have people like, I want everything on my cards. I want everything right there. Like you can't do both at the same time. So like, I don't know. I personally, I think I do use a lot of custom buttons, Olivia. So like, I totally understand what you mean about how like now I've got to like click the button to go there. But I can tell you, it took me all of half a second to adjust to it personally in my workflows, and like it feels like a fair trade-off for all of the other stuff that I don't have to now be cluttered with and look at. But yeah, I don't know if there's any sort of different ideas or iterations that might be thought about. I'm sure as everything with Trello, like this is iterative, like this may not, it may end up looking different based on this feedback. So I definitely think it's useful to can you show us how to share feedback, Alex? Like the feedback buttons, I think, are they? Yep, there it is, right up there. Yeah. So if you have thoughts, correct me if I'm wrong, but I assume this is the best way to share it and say like I'm using custom buttons and I need them to be on the card or something like that. Like, is that how you'd recommend people go about sharing that kind of feedback?
Yes, yes, I look at the feedback every day, so that's the best place to share.
Yeah. Awesome. So yes.
I have a couple of questions. So first question is, what is the rollout for this for existing users? So I guess it's available to certain people right now, but what's the general availability going to be?
So any new user that signs up today is getting the new card back. They are also getting Trello personal productivity, sorry. And this week, it's rolling out to all existing users that are enrolled in the beta.
Okay.
So then by the end of this week, everybody that's on the beta will have the new card back.
That's awesome. Awesome. So yeah, so if you don't see it yet, you should see it very, very soon. And yeah, folks, so this is a live stream. So there's, it's always going to live at the same link. So if you're watching and you're like, I want to come back and watch this later, or I have questions later, you can always come back and comment on this video and we'll keep an eye on it. So yeah, this Denise says, I'm excited to have the comments so easy to review. We're one of those companies that uses automation to put timestamps in the description. So yeah, so being able to have the comments over to the side, I agree. Like the comments are like either amazing, like I need them or I don't on a card. There's no like one way or the other. So it's like really nice that it's now along the side. Gonna be easier to like kind of see in parallel with like actually what I'm looking at on the card. So I have that context. So I'm with you. I think that's going to be super nice to be able to see those and also to just hide that section if I don't need it at all. So yeah.
I have a really small, I think I mentioned it before in the past, but a feature request of being able to have a shortcut key for opening and closing the comments.
Yeah, I think that's one of the first things that we're looking at too.
Oh yeah,
cool.
we love a good toggle, a shortcut toggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome. Sweet. Well, thank you so much, Alex. We appreciate that. And anything else you wanted to add or share, or any closing thoughts on cardbacks?
No, I don't have any. I mean, thank you guys so much for letting me join and share. I'm looking forward to the feedback as it comes in. So thanks.
Yeah, awesome. And now we'll pass over to Katie to talk about card mirror. So definitely, yeah, excited to see what all we've got going on. If you want to share, Katie, and we talked about it before. We understand the sort of gist of it, but maybe just for folks who didn't see our session one, give a quick what is card mirroring and what are we doing with that, and then tell us about the new exciting features that are coming this way.
Yes. Okay. So just as a review, if you haven't encountered mirror cards before, basically a mirror card is, I joke sometimes that we should have called them window cards because it's really kind of like a window into a card in another board. So for example, on here, you can see this is a mirror card, and you know it's a mirror card from two things. One is this right here, which we call the chip, which shows the background of the original board and the name of the original board and list. And then this part at the bottom, which we call the hint, because it's a little hint of the background from the original board. Now, all of these are from the same board. This is just a demo board I set up, but if you had it from other boards, then of course you'd see different backgrounds here. And so on a mirror card, you're going to see pretty much all of the information from the source card. So you're seeing the cover image, the fact that there's an attachment. I think here you can see the checklist item information, dates, labels, all of that will show up. And if I were to click on one of them, I would be able to see all of the same information. And at this point, I am actually viewing the original card. So I'm not viewing a copy. I am viewing the original card just in a different location. So there are some things that are not available in this location, like the power-ups and automations. Because you're outside of the context of the original board, those are currently not available. And also you cannot archive it, but everything else, you can comment, add it the description, add images, checklist items off, any of that you can do on this view. So that's mirror cards as they are. This was delivered earlier this year, and we've may had some big updates that are coming out and some more that are coming this week. So I just wanted to go through those with you all. The first one is sorting. So one big request we had was that people wanted to be able to sort their lists and have that include mirror cards. And I'm happy to say that that is supported now. We actually added this a while ago, but we've updated it to include sorting through automation as well. I'm just going to show you the manual way right now. So you can see, we'll do it by due date. On these cards here, we have a May 22nd due date, May 23rd, and May 19th. So they're not in order. We have 2 mirror cards here and also a regular card. And if I go to the list actions and click sort by and sort by due date, you can see that those are now rearranged, and it includes the mirror cards based on their due date. It doesn't like group mirror cards in one place and regular cards somewhere else. They all fit together naturally. So that can just help you get your board organized the way you want it. And if you sort through automation, that will also work correctly as well. And so for sorting, just to go through these options, you can do it by date and by card name and by due date. If you have the voting power up enabled on both boards, it actually will also, you can also sort by votes. So that one, I don't have that enabled in here, but it does work. And so the next one, this one is out to 75% of users right now. It will be at 100% by the end of the day. I'm very excited about this. This is filtering. So it will now be possible to filter your board and include mirror cards in those results. So on this board, you can see I am added to a few of these cards. So I am going to, well, usually I would use the Q keyboard shortcut, but this time I'll actually go here and click on cards assigned to me. And you can see that this is including mirror cards that are assigned to me as well as regular cards. And let's keep going. Let's see what else we can do here. So if I look at cards marked as complete, we have 2 mirror cards that were marked as complete. They're showing up here. And with due dates, we have a mirror card with an overdue due date. And if we have, let's see, due in the next month, we have a mix, regular cards and mirror cards. And I want to talk about labels for a second, because labels are kind of an interesting scenario. So labels are defined per board, and you don't have access from this to the original board's labels of like every mirror card. You can have mirrors from like 20 different boards. We're not showing all of those labels here, but there are ways to get the labels you need, and we'll talk about that. So first of all, let's talk about just the plain color labels. Those are going to work just out of the box. So let's do the purple one, because I know I have a regular card with the purple label and also some mirror cards. So that works. You're going to be able to filter both of them. But now let's take a look at another example. We have this mirror card that has the needs review label. Now I don't have the needs review label on this board. It's not going to work if I just do orange, because that's not what the label is. However, if I will just open a card and add, if I change this to be needs review, or if I add a needs review label, it will actually recognize labels with the same name. So if I now filter by needs review, even though this is a label for this board, it's going to recognize that, and it will include that in the filter results. For activity, it's going to look at activity across both boards. So essentially, was there activity on the source card, or have I moved the mirror card around on this board? And we'll look at both of those. I created all of these cards today, so they're all going to show up. If I filter by activity, it would be very boring. I'm not going to include that. But yes, so that's how the filtering works. And for keyword as well, it would look for the title. Another big addition that is just like filtering out to 75% now, will be out to 100% by the end of the day, is support for mirror cards and views. This is another big request we had. So now we'll just go through each one. If we go to the table, we're going to see our mirror cards show up there. And the way you can distinguish a mirror card is that it's going to have this little icon of the original board's background. And this is how you'll be able to tell if it's a mirror card. And if you hover over it, it has the name of the original board. For the list, we were debating what should show here, and we decided that it should be the list of on the current board. So the list that the mirror card is in. So that's what you will see here. I think right now in the version I'm showing you, we're not able to update that list here, but you will be able to. That's something we're going to allow in this view. And similarly, you can, just like on the board, you can mark something complete or incomplete from this view as well. And you can also drag them around if you wanted to change the order. within a list. So that would change where the mirror card was within the list. The other fields, because these are fields that belong to that source card, cannot be edited in this view for mirror cards. You can still open the mirror card from here and edit it there. But for anything that you would normally edit from the card back on a mirror card, that will be read-only in this view, just like it would be on the board view. And that's going to apply to any of these views. So moving on next to the calendar, we'll be able to see here, we can see the mirror cards showing up. They show the same information as regular cards. So in the calendar view, it's not the normal card appearance. I think it really just shows labels and members. It doesn't show all information from the card front. So it's the same for mirror cards. And again, you'll be able to mark them complete or incomplete. And you can tell they're mirror cards because they'll include the board name and icon and the hint of the board background. So you can see we have a mix of regular and mirror cards here. We'll just keep going so dashboard doesn't show individual cards, so that will not include mirror cards. Timeline, I did add a multi-day card here so that we can see how that looks. And for these that look a little cut off, that is just how cards look in the timeline view. They just, you can hover over to see the full title. And it should be the same for this as well, yes. So, and we'll switch to a different, let's switch to quarter. And you can see it shows up, takes a little more room here. And then we'll keep going to finally map. This is going to zoom way, way in, but then we'll think, oh, you know what? This one, there is, the map view has changed recently. And I have noticed an issue with this. So sorry, you're going to see a little bit of something here. I think I have, yeah, so I have the location here. So I'm going to try that again. And I'll mention it to the team a little later. Yeah, so if I go here now, you'll see this mirror card showing up. And this will look really just like a regular card, except with the addition of the mirror card chip and hint. So all of the views are supported now. And let's move on. So that should be available to everyone by the end of the day. Moving on to some automation improvements. As I mentioned, we do now support sorting by automation, and there's a few other things, one that's available now and one that's coming very soon. So if you were using automation with mirror cards when they launched, you may remember that it's been very manual. You have to kind of use the card link and card name variables to set up the automations. We have been working on making that a lot easier. So let's see, it's taking a little while to load here. Here we go.
I think I have personally used automation so much that it's just taking a long time to load now. It's just like trying to handle everything I've asked it to do. So yeah.
Well, I forgive you, Brittany, for slowing it down.
Yes, I'll take full responsibility.
So one thing that we've changed, let's say I want to mirror every card that I'm assigned to. If I go to card changes and say when I'm added to a card, and then if I go to add and remove, so the old way to do this will still work, which is that if you go to create a new, you can select mirror. So added this mirror the card on the top or bottom of the list, and you can choose your location. So this is just a little easier to find. It's a little more recognizable. And one thing that unfortunately I don't think I'm going to be able to show you, but I will tell you where it's going to be, and it should be out very soon, by the end of this month for sure, maybe even end of this week, is if you want to do something like when I archive this card, I want it to archive the mirror card as well. So the way you would do that is let's make archive the card. Whoops, it doesn't matter. Let's just say that we did that. Starting over. Okay, when a card is archived by me, and I want to add an action, you would go to Cascade. Cascade is what you use when you want to find another card and take an action on it. So we're going to have something, I think it's going to be right here, and it's just not quite ready yet to show you, but we'll be here very soon, that will say, find the mirror of this card or find the source of this card if you're starting.
Oh, that is amazing.
So that should make it a lot
find
easier.
All the mirrors? Like it will
you will need to specify the location of find the mirror on this board. But
got it. Okay,
you could set up multiple rules if you're working with multiple boards.
Okay, cool.
So that it is possible right now if you know the variable names to work with, but this should make it a whole lot easier to do these automations. So that's coming very soon. I know that we're getting towards the end of our time, so I'm going to try to hurry up a little more with the rest of these. Oh, actually, there's one more thing I want to show you with automations, which is that new mirror action is also supported in scheduled automations and board buttons, which is new. That was not something that we had before. So now if you want to have like a one-time board button action where you're going to mirror everything that you've been assigned to ever on that board, you can now do that. Again, it's under move cards, and you can do this mirror each card option. Okay. That's been a lot. There's just a little bit more to discuss. One thing that's coming soon that I think I'll be able to show you is mirroring to the inbox. Now, technically, this is possible now. If I were to copy this URL at the top and then open the inbox and paste that as the title of a new card in the inbox, that would create a mirror card. But what is coming very soon, so again, this is another one that's a little sneak peek, is if I go to mirror, I think I'm in the wrong version. This is, I need to select. So sorry, you're going to see a little bit of behind the scenes magic here. And hopefully I'll be able to get all this working to show you. Let's see. So fun fact, the person who built this specific feature is actually my husband. He's also working on this feature with me as an engineer. So he showed me earlier how to access this. So if I open this up now and I go to mirror, yeah, now we're in the right branch, and I can, the inbox is actually the default. I can still select a board. In fact, this gives you a little preview of another thing coming soon, which we'll talk about in a second. If I go back to inbox, I can select the position and just say mirror. And then if I click view, it's going to open up, we're going to reload and show the inbox open, and you can see I have the mirror of that card right now in the inbox. This has been a big request from people, so I hope that people will enjoy being able to just really easily add things to the inbox. And then let's see, a couple other things I wanted to show. One is, okay, we've had a lot of questions about how to archive mirror cards. So we've made some improvements. We made a lot of improvements, actually. One is that when you open this, this one we did pretty much right away after launch. We added this banner and added to it this option to remove the mirror card from here. But one other thing we've added, and this is actually inspired by something that Alex shipped with completed cards, where on completed cards, you know, the archive little icon is shown. We now do that with mirror cards in general, where if you hover over them, you can see archive mirror card. And I wanted to show this example. This is one where the original card was deleted. And so for that, you can just delete it on hover. So we've added that to just make it a lot easier to remove those if you don't need them anymore. And then the last thing I want to show you is really for the free users out there. If you previously, if you went to this mirror menu and you wanted to mirror something to a free board, you really were just out of luck. It would just tell you that you needed to upgrade or start a trial. And really, I thought this didn't make too much sense because we had a free version of mirror cards. We had it from the beginning. It just shows the card title and the board name and no other information, but it's there. It's still a link, and it doesn't open in place like a mirror card does. It goes back to the original board. But it already existed. So I thought we should make this easier for people to find and use. And so now, if you select a free board, you still will have the option to upgrade to get a full mirror card, but you can also choose create free link card instead. Again, this is not out quite yet, but should be by the end of the month. And so if I do that, I'm going to go to that board now, and you can see it's added it right here. So this is kind of a light version of a mirror card with just the board name, and if I click on it, it wouldn't open in place. It would actually take me to that card on that board. And that's it. I feel like I've just talked for a long time, but that's
no, this
there's a lot of new stuff
though.
coming. So
yeah,
so that's all my mirror cards updates.
This is awesome, Katie. Thanks for sharing that. And like it's very cool to see. Like I had no idea that even like the voting stuff was going to be included. So that's really cool to see. But we definitely got the most questions about filtering and sorting. So it's awesome to see, and views. So it's awesome to see that that's all come together here. And yeah, the only thing I wanted to bring up, the other things that I've heard a lot about are being able to like map between lists and things like that, and you know, be able to say like when the original card moves from this list to this list, I want my mirrored cards too. And I wonder if maybe we could be laying some framework for that with the cascade action for, you know, finding the mirrored cards. But also the thing I like to tell people is that if you're looking for something that's truly syncing, you probably want to use a power up for that. Like these are fantastic for, this is great for if you need like a mirror sort of view. But if you're looking for full syncing, you probably want to use something like Advanced Mirror by Placker. Their power up lets you kind of map those different lists. Or Unito is a great power up for saying, when something happens in this board, this is what I want you to do in the other board. So, and actually keeping those things in sync. So I just wanted to call that out because I think a lot of people will ask questions about mirrors, expecting it to be like a true sync, and like it's more of. I think Katie, you have a good analogy for it about it being like a window, kind of to let you see where it's going versus like trying to keep everything in sync. But that being said, the automation enhancements really get us really close to that. Like I think
you can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can do it in automation. Just to be clear, like you can say like when it moves to this list, find the mirror and move it to this list. And if you have the same list names, then you actually can do it with one rule. If it's the same list names on each board, I can't remember off the top of my head the variable, but it's something like
it's card list, trigger card list name.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah. And I've been answering questions about how to do that in like some of my newsletters, and like I think trying to remember now off the top of my head, one way is easier than the other. I think like the problem is if you have multiple mirrors and you want to say when one mirror moves, go update the source card. Like I think there's something with like, basically it depends on like how many mirrors you have and how consistent it can be, and it works, but some people don't really want to build all those automations, and that's when I say go check out a power up. But like you said, all of these enhancements for sure like are going to make it way easier. Like Denise just mentioned, like finding the mirror that's going to like decrease our automations by half. Like we won't need as many rules because we'll be able to, we won't have to write all the clunkiness we had to do with like, okay, well, I know the mirror is the card link name, so it's like the card, or I know it's the card name, so I need to look for the card link. So this makes it a lot easier. Two questions that came up. Chris has some questions about the behavior of opening mirrored cards and like going to the specific. So let's say I'm opening a mirrored card on this board. Is that going to open in a new tab or on this current tab?
It's going to open
this
in
current
place.
Tab. In place, right? Okay.
If you have a free one, it would, I think it's still the same tab, but it just goes to the other board. But yes, it opens up.
Got it. Okay, with the board as the background. Okay, and then if we jump to the cards board or the original card, those links open in a new tab. So if we now want to go to view it in its original board, how do we? Does that?
Yeah, I think it's two ways. There's clicking on this, which does open in a new tab, and then there's also this option, which also will open in a new tab. So yes, opening it in another board will open in a new tab.
Okay, got it. Chris, I don't know if you were here earlier when I mentioned, but if you got like some feedback to share about like you wish it would behave maybe a different way, use that little speaker or megaphone icon at the top of the card. That's a great place to share feedback. I know like Katie and Alex have both been like monitoring. Oh,
so actually now I think if you leave the feedback here now, this is really about the card back instead of the mirror card specifically. So for mirror cards, if you have feedback, I would say continue with support and community. Would be and I check those very regularly, or check the community very regularly, and then contact the support team very regularly as well. So for the card back, yes, use this feedback icon. For mirror cards, this isn't going to be like specifically recognized. It won't kind of like go into a mirror card.
It won't go on your radar. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Awesome. I'm sure if Alex saw a mirror card thing, she would tell me about it, but it's not going to kind of like show up.
I was just going to say that, if I saw something mirror card related, I would let Katie know.
She's like, nope, that's not on my to-do. That's not in my Trello box. No, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Like, not my problem.
I love that. And then I think there was one more question Olivia had. Do these updates allow for mirrored cards to appear in dash cards, or is that a separate thing? And if so, is it planned?
No, that will not. I know that there are some people who would love to see this in dash cards, and I know that would be awesome to include. Right now, that isn't something that is planned or supported. That doesn't mean that we'll never come back to it, but in this round of updates and whatever kind of the next immediate foreseeable changes are, it's not going to be coming soon for dash cards.
Got it. So only so many things we can do and so little time, and these are some really awesome improvements. So this is really great to see here. And I saw Samuel posted in the chat typing a question about mirror versus syncing. We use mirror cards as the parent card to break out into smaller bite-sized projects. Yeah, I mean, we could probably do, and maybe we should, Mike, maybe that should be a good Trello Trailblazers episode where we talk about the difference between mirroring and syncing and how to know which one you really need, and, help kind of guide people through, do I need mirrors? Do I need advanced mirrors with Placard? Do I need like syncing? Like, okay, I don't want to power up. I want to do this purely with automation. How close can I get to, a true two-way sync? And like, I have lots of opinions on why I maybe would, or like the different ways that I would do that. But I feel like we could have a whole episode about that.
Yeah, I've definitely been modifying my terminology. When people talk about mirroring, they're normally talking about two cards syncing information. And now I say, no,
Yeah.
that's two sets of cards syncing. Mirroring is a reflection of what already exists. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to kind of be clearer on that language, because I think it does confuse people, especially what I think Trello's done is actually close to the real mirroring in its sort of purest form. But all of the power-ups that existed doing it before called themselves mirroring. So it was kind of like, yeah, actually, that's not really, that's two-way syncing between two different cards.
This is why in our marketing materials, I have gone through and I've always asked, can we take out the word syncing? Like, I don't want to confuse people because it is a very different behavior. So we've tried to be really careful not to call it syncing because that's not what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's super true.
Like I said before, I kind of, it's growing on me so much that I'm using it in so many different places for myself and for clients. Like, there's so many uses of being able to mirror things to various places, and it opens up the possibility for people. One thing people always seem to want, even if there's a team board, is their own individual board. So like the mirroring cards and using automation to mirror cards. A quick question on the automation. Is there going to be a specific unmirror command with an automation, or is that still going to be an archive the card once you've found the cascading?
It's still going to be archive for now. We don't have plans to, if we added an unmirror one, it would just be archiving it, right? Like, if we would just be calling it something different.
I just wondered, because there's already an unlink and link card, so I just wondered whether that's because you added a mirror card, is there going to be remove a mirror card sort of? But archiving works. I was just wondering whether that's something.
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. That's not something that we're planning to add. For now, I would still say to do the cascade of find the mirror card once we release that, which should be very soon, and then archive. But that's an interesting idea to do that through automation as well.
And on the cascading part that's not available just yet, is it going to be on board and list? Because I guess there's a possibility they might mirror cards to multiple lists on the same board.
I believe that, so I'm going to tell you what I think it is without looking at it right now. So, there is a chance that I am remembering this incorrectly, but based on how other things work in automation, I believe you have to select the board, but the list is optional. Now that could be incorrect, but I believe that is how that works.
Okay, cool.
Because I think it's a lot to ask for someone to like have to know which list it's on.
I was just thinking of the case of just an example I was working on yesterday where someone was mirroring cards to multiple places on the same board, and I was just thinking if that would be possible, because I guess if you only have board available, it might find. I guess it would just find the first instance of it.
I think that's right. I think it does. Things do sometimes become unusual if you have like more than one mirror of the same card on the same board and you're using automation. That can, especially, that can be a little strange, because I think it would just find like the first one it finds unless you specified the list.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to find all of them, is my understanding.
Yeah.
Speaking of automation, I just went ahead and posted some links in the chat to, first of all, my newsletter that I wrote last week, where I was talking about the different variables that you could use and how you would say, when my card is moved into a list, go find this one and move it to another list. So shared that, and also sharing a link to the advanced mirror power up with Placard that does that as well. And Denise, on the subject of what you're mentioning about the archiving, Denise just mentioned we use automation to archive the linked mirror card. We're able to do this because we link the mirrors to the original card. She says, hopefully there will be updates to that. It sounds like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask. I guess I'm not sure I'm understanding what I guess I'm not fully understanding the question.
my understanding of the question is basically like finding the mirrored cards. Like I think this might be Denise, is this what you're mentioning? This might help you with your automations because like the update will solve you having to, you don't have to link the mirrors to the original card because now you'll be able to use the find mirror version. I think, I don't want to speak for you, Denise, so if you want to clarify that maybe a little bit more, or are you looking for a different update or something to see differently here? Might have to wait a few seconds for the comments to come through with the time and space lag, but yeah, those kind of, yes, yeah, okay, so yeah, she says I hope yes. So I think she's saying that with the new find mirror that should, yeah, you shouldn't need to link the cards together. So yeah, that's awesome. Wow, okay, tons of questions and comments and thoughts and lots going on here. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been awesome. For anybody who's, again, watching the recording, comment on this YouTube video. I still get notifications about the comments, and I'll follow up and make sure we get you answers for that. But yeah, thank you so much, Katie and Alex, for joining. This has been really cool. We always love having folks from Trello on here to, it's fun when Mike and I talk about it, but often we can only, speculate or share things. It's fun to see, like, as they're coming out, what is really on the plan. So thank you both for joining us.
Well, thanks so much for having us. It's so fun to be here. And to everyone viewing, thank you so much for using Trello and trying these features and sharing feedback. If you've shared feedback, we really appreciate it. And I've probably read hundreds, at least, of feedback tickets from mirror cards, and that is directly what led to many of these changes. So big thanks.
Yeah.
Guys.
Awesome.
I think that's really cool, actually, because we talked about it in January, didn't we? And it's been sort of 5 months-ish. And I don't think I was expecting too many changes to mirror cards once it was implemented, but this has obviously been as a result of direct user feedback. So when people ask, do the Trello team pay attention to feedback? Yes, they do.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it sometimes is hard because they'll feel like, well, it doesn't work exactly the way I wanted to. And it's like, have to remember, like, there are literally millions of people using this tool. And so how you weight that feedback, like, doesn't, just because someone gives feedback doesn't mean every millionth person is also saying the same thing. And so it's very tough to balance that. So appreciate that you all take in the feedback and do what you do and organize it and iterate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. And
come back again.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I will sign off, but yeah, thank you everybody for joining.